So you were born in 1926?
Yep.
Where were you born?
Huh?
Where were you born?
Breckenridge Hospital in Austin, Texas.
Ah.
First one in our family to be born in the hospital.
Really? Everyone else was born at home,
Born
I guess?
at home, yeah.
Wow. That's
And even Belton, my brother, was born at home.
really?
Yeah. But all the rest of the kids, matter of fact, Lola, our adopted sister, was still in the hospital when she was adopted.
Wow. That's...
So,
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
three brothers and then one adopted sister.
Wow. Because the Sweets don't really have girls, do they?
Not that often, no.
You gotta adopt them in.
But Melvin had 2 girls.
Oh, wow. Daryl had one.
Yeah.
So, that's funny.
That couple, Milton and Esther, they didn't have any children. He adopted us kids pretty much.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when he died, I got about $25,000–30,000 out of his estate.
Wow.
Spent it.
Oh, goodness. What was it like when you were a kid?
Oh, we had a kind of a mild bringing up. Of course, my dad was in the ministry pretty much after I was 3 or 4 years old, and so we were raised in a Christian household, and were taught all of the manners and good things about being a Christian. And but when we were living in, folks was living up in North Austin, out there on close to Jollyville, when I was born. And then when I was very small, they moved to Elgin because my grandmother and her father were living there in Elgin, and he was in his late 80s, and she was living with him. She was a widow, of course, living with her dad was a widower, and so she was living with him, taking care of, keeping house for him. My folks moved to Austin, or to Elgin, and Dad bought some property right across the street from where they lived, and so we lived there until I was 6 years old. Already started to school, but then at the middle of the year we moved down close to MacDade, which is east of Elgin, where the Butler Brick Company and a community they call Butler now. So we was living about a mile from there, and on a farm, and that's when I was. We moved there when I was 6. I'd already started school, so transferred to school there. Country school, 1st, 2nd, 3rd grades all in the same room.
Oh, really?
So, and I went to that school till the 4th grade, and when the time for the 4th grade to start, they moved the school to Elgin, and had to ride the bus. And but I caught the bus right in front of the house, and no problem. And that's where we were living when all the kids was born.
Yeah.
And then
What was your first job?
I worked for the first job, matter of fact, where I got my Social Security card was at Texas Quarries up there north of Austin, right close to where we lived at that time. It was a rock, limestone quarry that cut that limestone and made window sills and door sills and decorative stuff with limestone. And I was one of the cutters, run a machine that had a great big long blade on it, and they used a machine with diamond embedded wire to in this pit to saw this limestone out in slabs, and they cut it out in 4x8 slabs 4 inches thick, and they'd bring those slabs up then, and we could lay those on a table, and they had this cutter slide this thing through there, and that cutter would chop that off and leave a sill all 8 or 10 inches wide and 4 feet long, used for door sills and window sills and masonry buildings. And that's what I was doing there for a while, but that got a little bit much, and so I decided to go to Austin and get a job. And I got a job in Austin driving an ice truck.
An ice truck.
Delivering ice.
Delivering ice for what?
For the houses. This is when you went in the back door and the little ice box was there, and you open the door and slide that ice in. Usually the money was laying on top of it.
So instead of a refrigerator.
That's before refrigerators come along.
Oh wow.
Well, it wasn't. There were refrigerators, but
Yeah.
they weren't as common as now.
Right.
It was
That's crazy.
ice boxes, and they at the ice plant, the ice came out of the freezer in a 3 by 6 foot
Block.
block, 1 foot thick. I don't know whether you've ever seen what they call ice cans or not. They're a big metal can that was filled with water and then went into this freezing vat where they circulated the ice water, and that's the way the ice was frozen. Then they take them out of that vat and let them set for a while till it begins to thaw a little bit, tip them over, slide that block out, run it through a cutter, and it would cut marks in it at long ways and then short ways, depending on what they was wanting to put out, any for 25 to 50 pound and 100 pound blocks. And
Heavy.
all it did, the saw just scored it. Then they run this out on the platform, and you take an ice pick and work those grooves and break it up into the pieces that you need to use.
Wow.
But on the delivery, they run it through the saw, and then it's loaded in the truck as a solid 300 pound block of ice. So when you went to delivery, you
Broke it up.
use your pick to cut off whatever the customer wanted.
Wow.
Grab it with the tongs, take it in the house, put it in the ice box, get paid for it, take off.
Wow. That's pretty cool. She's a mess.